Would you say you're happy?
No. No.
Unpack that.
Actually, that's a really good question. I think there's certain aspects of life that I'm very happy in, but overall, I would say the resounding answer is no. I think for me, I get fulfillment when I'm progressing really fast. And if I'm stagnant, the fulfillment goes away, which for me, just as a man and someone who likes, like, I'm competitive and again, I want to win and be moving, I need to feel progress to be happy, right? But I would say right now, I'm agitated is probably the best way that I can put it. Clients are happy, right? So like, why do I feel so unmotivated, right? That's what I'm trying to unlock is like, where's the disconnect?
You know, what are the things that they don't tell you when you're on your way to an 8-figure company?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm down to go there. I mean, it's even more relevant now just with...
We're good?
We're rocking and rolling?
Yeah. Okay.
Sick.
Rolling, yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, what were you saying?
No, I was saying it's even more relevant for me to be talking about this stuff right now and coming off of a 3.5-hour drive or 4-hour drive, just sitting there and thinking about the stuff that I typically don't think about.
Yeah.
Because we're going through a super unique, I would say, like, evolution, or me personally, but then also obviously with me leading the company, the businesses as well.
What is that evolution?
Well, I think I'll just tell you what, like, so I'm reading a book called Founders.
Okay.
Have you ever read it?
No, I have a book called The Founder's Mentality, but
it's about the PayPal mafia, Elon, Thiel, basically all of them and how they started PayPal and all of the different things that transpired throughout PayPal. And it's a super interesting book, but...
Give me the long and short of it, like one of your major takeaways from that book.
Just relentless, like, ideation and pivoting super fast and hard. Like they went, I haven't read the whole thing, but where I'm at currently with it is they're talking about, and you'll probably think this is funny, back in like the 90s, they were talking about beaming money from Palm Pilot to Palm Pilot. And there was this super revolutionary, like, crazy idea where people were like, why would anybody transact like at dinner? Like, hey, send me your part of the bill. Okay, cool. Let's beam it. And they would basically create these infrastructures through beaming. And if you think about that backwards, right? Like if you connect the dots looking backwards from that now, it's like, okay, so Venmo and Cash App and all of these things, right? Cryptocurrency was actually what was being spoken about when they were beaming money. So like virtual currencies has been something for the last 25, 30 plus years, right? That's been an actual main topic of discussion at these big, super niche, super tight circle tech companies, whatever. But when you look backwards against that, it's like, okay, we have mass adopted, everyone understands crypto from one level or another, to the Venmo days and the Cash App days and all these things, to PayPal, to Nokia, I think, beaming money from one Palm Pilot to another Palm Pilot. And that all started with some crazy lunatic's idea. Right? Which is just kind of absurd. So anyways, like what I've been thinking about while I've been driving here is, I'm at a super interesting spot where, I got into business running from, that was nice.
Sorry about that.
I got into business running from fear, right? Like I didn't want to be scared of paying bills or, many different things, I think, which is most people who don't really start with a lot. They're just running from like not having money to pay for food or rent or whatever.
Entrepreneurship is essentially like a trauma response.
100%. Yeah. It's just some people run really early. So what I was kind of going back, and I can't remember who said this, but they're like, you can never connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards, right? So for me, I was super social, like I just liked being friends with everybody in high school, but I got kicked out of high school. So that all got taken in a matter of an instant for me.
How'd you get kicked out of high school?
It's an interesting story. We can go there if you want.
If you'd like to.
Yeah, sure.
I can't let it slide. Just like
my
personal curiosity here.
So I went to a big high school, Lake Mary, which is in Orlando, Florida. And, they found steroids in the parking lot. So they searched the strip of cars that the steroids were found in. And as a high schooler, I smoke weed and, you know, do things that high schoolers do. And they were going through all the cars, and my car smelled like weed. So they found a blunt roach, which is like, you know, the end of something that you would smoke, in between my seats, arrested me and kicked me out of school.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's traumatic in itself, given that like how little of a offense that actually is.
Correct. Well,
wild.
and the fact is it was more of an example thing. I mean, they had found stuff like that across tons of people.
Sure.
Like it was kind of a crazy situation, right? Like actually getting handcuffed and like walked out of school. I had been playing lacrosse. This was our varsity year. We were going to the Final Four. You know, like yeah, it was our everything year. You know what I mean? And literally halfway through it, just done, right? So I was looking backwards and I was like, okay, so public humiliation almost, right? Immediately took all the things that I gave a shit about, which was like friends and like social circles, and that was all gone. So then I just spiraled and was like in this weird position where like I tried to go to college, but like I didn't fit in with anybody anymore because they were still like latched on the social stuff. And I was like, I couldn't understand why. I just didn't connect with that anymore. So I tried to do it for a few years. Anyways, that's the story, and we can go back to that before I go way down the line. But as I was going my way through here, or driving here, I was thinking about, first it was to pay bills, right? Then it was to almost to fit in, because the people that I resonated with were like business people, and they were all in front of me. So first it was to run away from bills. Then it was to fit in, right? Like I wanted certain respect from people. Then it was to buy the nice things, right? Get the car, the watches, whatever. And then after that, you almost like lose meaning around like, okay, I can afford things, have enough money, you know what I mean? Not enough, but like I have funds, right?
Your needs are met.
Yeah. And you all of a sudden, all the stuff that like really matters is just like gone. And it doesn't happen like over time. It's like almost like, at least for me, it was just like, everything I've wanted is kind of starting to happen, but I feel more disconnected from what I'm trying to do than I ever have.
Sure.
Right. So I'm kind of at this point now where the vision that I had for Salesmentum and myself and all of these things while building it is changing dramatically, and I don't have it figured out yet in terms of direction. Sure. Which is a super weird position to be in. So that's why I said, like, transparently, that drive today was just like really good, because I was just able to sit there and just kind of stew on, all right, these are the things that I haven't addressed yet that I need to address. These are the things that could come up and bite me in the ass and reset me back down to level one. These are the, you know what I mean? Like just kind of going backwards through everything. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is going to make things interesting again for me, depending what I put my time into.
Sure.
Right.
Well, let's pause there
That's
for a second.
A lot, yeah.
Thank you for sharing
yeah.
that. And what I want the audience to understand is, like, this is someone who on the outside you would think has it all figured out. Like your business is, you know, you work with a lot of high profile clients, you're crushing it, but you're still in this position of trying to figure it out. Like, we're at any point, like the level of trying to figure it out just continues to evolve. It never goes away. You're just consistently trying to figure out.
You're always figuring something out, and at some points it becomes a lot more painful than others.
Sure.
Personally, right? Because like business pain is like, oh shit, we got to work extra hard and money is tight. But like there's a different thing where like what drives you disappears. And that's a weird feeling.
Now that you have those data points and you're able to like connect those previous dots, like what filter are you building from now?
I actually wrote this down in my notes. Actually, let me pull it out.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll give you the high level from what I remember that I wrote down, unless I can find it right now. Anyways, I think the first thing is, would I do it no matter if it fails or it succeeds? Succeeds, like meaning would I enjoy doing it? Like, is it going to be fun, right? The second piece is, does it involve people that I would want to work with? Like that's a big piece that I've realized. Like there's a lot of opportunities that are really cool, and especially anybody, depending on if they're small, big, doesn't really matter, everything in between. There's gonna be a ton of opportunities that present themselves that are really cool, but the people behind it are not so great. And I've learned that the hard way, and, in many different situations. So I think it comes down to like, am I excited about it? Would I be excited about it even if it was like a huge failure, right? And then the second piece is like, do I like the people and do I want to work with the people that are there? And then the third piece is, it has to do with like, if I was to do this, is it going to impact me in the way that I need right now? Because like I think there's, and this, I'm trying to think through how to explain this, but like, let's say, I don't know, me and you were going to partner on some interesting idea, whatever. And I was going through a bunch of stuff on the personal side, but I was going to shelve all this just to partner with you here. Like, I think timing is a certain piece when it comes down to like prioritization that I've started to learn is like, if I do this, how much am I giving up here? And like, is this going to negatively affect me here, even though this is going really well? I think that's something that I think about a lot now, is because I've taken a lot of things on that if I realized what I was going to be giving up on the personal side or like mentally, I don't think I would have done it.
Sure. What does that look like? So like in your previous experience, like what cost were you building from? So like at what cost, what price did you pay?
I think I'm still paying that price, well, I mean, let me put it to you this way. Like when you get into business, like we were talking about earlier or in the very beginning of this, you start by like running from stuff, right? So business becomes like this easy cover up for any problem. It's like, oh, I could solve that, but like I get dopamine from just crushing it in business. So I'm just going to keep going here. So you like shelve all this stuff, and then eventually it'll hit you, it'll come out. So I think like a really tangible like example of this would be, let me say like, right now in business, I could put the pedal down really hard. I could spend a ton in advertising. We could probably scale pretty drastically. But in doing that, my health isn't good. Like I don't feel healthy right now. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm healthy, but I'm usually in the gym each day. I'm usually eating properly. Right now, I'm not eating consistently, and I'm not in the gym each day. And I know that's because of stress, right? Stress and anxiety and different things, just with kind of like this missing connection point to like what's next, right? So I could do this, but like if I do that, I know this is going to get a lot worse, right? And I think there's points where you can do this and that, and then there's points where you need to realize and like actually understand like, okay, it is this or that right now. And this is only going to resonate with people who have either been through this or are starting to go through this, but you're always trading something no matter what decision you do. And I'm kind of rambling a little bit, and it makes sense in my mind, but maybe it's...
No, it makes total sense. There's I say it all the time, there's no such thing as utopia, only trade-offs. And in business, the concept of balance is the biggest fallacy of all time. If you're trying to achieve balance, that means that you're like kind of mediocre in a lot of things, and that's why balance exists. Yeah. In my opinion, the solution... There's no like perfect solution, but the solution is really becoming self-aware enough to know what season you're in and what you're willing to sacrifice in that season.
100%.
Like for me, like health and relationships are like always a non-negotiable. So it's like, okay, with the energy that I'm willing to give to health and relationships, how fast can I scale in these other directions? That's really like, it's those non-negotiables that hit first, and the varying levels of energy that you're willing to give to those non-negotiables so that you can scale your business or
so you're continuing. There's nothing that's going to pop up and like take you out from an unseen. I mean, it's a good example. And like going back to what I was saying with like business became the cover up. Like I had all the connections. I work with really cool people, but everything's business, right? There was a point where I literally woke up and I was like, holy shit, I have no friends, like at all. You know what I mean? Like I have friends, but it was all centered around business, right? Sure. There was no like, oh, I'm just going to go hang out with the guys or you know what I mean? Like something that is so like simple, I was just completely disconnected from. So I didn't realize like the people, the relationships, the health stuff, I didn't care about that for like 6 years. You know what I mean? It was just go, 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 be successful, prove the business, which I wasn't doing for like a malicious, like I really enjoyed what I was doing. And for what we're continuing to do, like I love it. I can spend all day, every day doing it, right? And not get bored. But it took me a while to like, it basically took me to the point where I was waking up and I was like, holy shit, like this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. But business is doing well. Like it just took some time to really like lose those things fully for them to like present themselves and be like, yo, you gotta, and I think everybody who just blitzes it through their 20s, like I just turned 29. So, yeah, I'm glad I know this now and not when I'm 38.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like from one 29 to another 29-year-old, it's like I don't think there's any more optimal way to go about it than just to fuck it up even faster. That's 100%. What I would tell to people in their 20s.
I agree with
like,
that.
Figure this, like go through it so that you can figure it out when you're 25, not 29. Because I don't think men specifically can ever just like take this, what we're talking about, and then just like make the shift without having gone through this. We all have to put our hand on the stove at some
100%
way, shape, or form.
Well, I think that's, I mean, if you're going to get into business or you're running a business, like I think the speed at which you're going to grow is like how many hot stoves you put your hand on, you know what I mean? Because you know what to pull away from and what to go further into. Yeah, I'm literally just speaking out loud right now. What's coming to my thoughts.
That's what this is, like stringing thoughts together, man. So this is all hitting you at this like time in your life, like right now. This is all recently coming up for you.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we're just in a unique position. Business is good. I think team could be a lot better, but team is good. Offer is good. Clients are happy, right? So like, why do I feel so unmotivated, right? That's what I'm trying to unlock is like, where's the disconnect? And I think one, it's I'm playing in a vehicle that is, and actually I don't even know if that's the right way to say this. I think for me, I want to move a lot faster, but I'm currently being taught a lot about patience and just being okay with like things moving at the speed that they're moving. I mean, I'm aggressive. Like I want to win and I want to win faster and I want to move quicker and I want to do these things, but like we're at a point where everything's good and I don't want to fuck that up by pressuring it forward as I typically would do. But then also there's more stuff on the personal side that I feel I need to prioritize more, right? So honestly, if I wasn't in the position I'm in, I wouldn't even be thinking about these things. We'd just be talking about like put your head through it.
Sure.
And I think honestly, like for most people, that's the advice is probably just put your head through it.
None of this shit matters unless like the business is starting to generate revenue. It's like, all right,
exactly.
Cool. Like, obviously health matters, but like go figure your shit out in business first.
Well, and there's no reason I can't do both either. Sure. Like, and I think that's there's this weird point where you start doing everything. So you're proving all this process. Then you start to manage people, which teaches you like recruiting and bringing people in and teaching and managing. And then there's like operating the business and like, I'm just now starting to operate the business and I'm kind of bored, cause like, I don't really know what to put all my time and energy into. But over the last couple of weeks, I've really kind of decided to do more of this. It's like, go do the podcast. I'm going from stage to stage to stage next week, which is going to be really cool. I've never done something like that. We're putting money into content, video, stuff along those lines, which that's always been like the thing I've leaned furthest away from is like filming because I just don't like it. I tell myself I don't like it, right? But every time I do it, the business grows. Yep. And it's leverage, right? So it's like, that's what I feel like the thing I least want to do is usually where I need to go spend my time. And this is that right now.
Have you ever read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield?
Yeah.
So it's just the same concept. It's like
100%.
Resistance is a good thing because it typically tells you exactly where you need to be.
100%. Yeah. It's literally a compass. So
would you say you're happy?
No.
Unpack that.
I think I'm actually, that's a really good question. I think there's certain aspects of life that I'm very happy in, but overall I would say the resounding answer is no. I think for me, I get fulfillment when I'm progressing really fast. And if I'm stagnant, the fulfillment goes away, which for me, just as a man and someone who likes, like, I'm competitive and again, I want to win and be moving. I need to feel progress to be happy. Mm-hmm. Right. But I would say right now I'm agitated is probably the best way that I can put it. I'm agitated because I have all the things that I've always wanted to have. I have resources that I've never had, right? But I don't know what to go all in on.
Sure.
Right. And I know what to go all in on from, like, my business. I'm not talking necessarily about that, but, like, there's evolution pieces and there's team member pieces and there's financial pieces and there's personal pieces to all of this that I'm trying to figure out kind of how to go together so that I can go back on my warpath and have fun with this again.
Yeah.
You know,
it seems like you're in a season of defining your own version of success.
Sure.
Right. Is that like, cause I mean, I could personally attest to the exact feeling that you had. I woke up about 12 months ago and felt the same exact thing of, like, why do I have every single thing that I ever dreamed about faster than I ever wanted, 10 times more abundantly than I ever thought it would be? And I'm still miserable as fuck. I'm actually more miserable than before I had it.
Yeah. I was actually, one of the thoughts that came to my mind, cause I lived in Tampa for a while. I also lived in Sarasota, before Tampa. And as I was driving up here, I was like, damn, like that was the fun time.
Yep.
I had shit. Like, I was making, I don't know, $4,000 a month, like scrappy as hell, flying around all over the place, like making no money, but it was literally the most fun I can remember having.
I think it's because your expectations are so low at the time. Right. I'm reading a book by Morgan Housel. He talks about the key to happiness is having low expectations, because typically when we have high expectations and expect more, there's a lot of variables that we don't have control over that just
That's a good point.
Consistently hit below those expectations, right? So it's like when you're younger and you're first starting out, everything is just so new and novel. You have this massive, like, unlock every other day because you're hearing something you never heard before. But we've all read the books. We've listened to the podcast now. We've gone the experience. So now it's like, it's harder to hit that threshold of there being some form of novelty and adventure. So for me, like, the solution's been like, what are the things out of business? Because more money is just, there's a diminishing return to, like, that being the metric, right? That doesn't mean that that's not a good thing, right? We still want more business success, but where can you play other scoreboards? So, like, on the fitness side, I started creating another scoreboard. Like, fiction books have been a new scoreboard for me. Legos, like those types of things.
What kind of fiction books?
I read fantasy fiction books. So if you look here, like, I buy a new fantasy fiction book minimum every day.
That's interesting.
I have more than I could probably read in the next 5 years in the library right now, but
that's cool.
It's just like, it's a whole different scoreboard that I'm playing on, and it's teaching me to truly understand my version of success as opposed to, like, borrowing someone else's, because the business is going to figure its shit out. Like, we're high performers. We're going to figure that out.
100%.
So,
yeah, I mean, maybe it's just in the process of going so aggressively towards business, you just lose, maybe not lose, but, like, know yourself to, like, what you actually enjoy.
Sure.
Right? Because, again, in the beginning, it's just like, ooh. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm running ads. I got a lead. I sold someone. I did this. I hired someone. I have this. I have that. It's all brand new. And then you just kind of, I guess it's not very fun anymore. You know, it's kind of just like a normal thing, right?
Do you think, like, are you afraid if you don't continue to keep the pulse on your business in this season that you'll lose your edge?
Hell no. I will never lose my edge in business. I think
like
that's the one thing I'm just so confident. Like, we spend so much time doing the stuff that people really don't like doing. Some people do. Like, if you're talking to, like, tech nerds and ops people, like, they love this shit. But we have such a nice moat around what we do, and we spend so much time doing it, and it's so much fun to me that, like, no.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to lose that edge.
What do you do? High level.
High level, so there's two different pieces that we do for our clients. One, we install specific systems around the sales and marketing side. So think the CRM, think the automations from lead in all the way through to initial point of sale to the reporting. And then we also implement and install what we would call a momentum operator, which is basically the person that removes leadership from the systems, allows for, like, clear data, right? So you could have 1 million scoreboards, but are you keeping track of the right stuff? Is it accurate, right? So they make sure data and reporting and all of that stuff is clear. And then they run growth initiatives through systems, right? So a lot of people build systems and they don't keep them working. So they build and launch, and they end up with a complete nightmare, right? We just do it very systematically on how do we come into a client's business, how do we figure out what current state is, map it to future state, and then while we're doing this, we're implementing an actual role who's going to learn how we scope, how we build, and take everything over at the end. So we basically create self-sufficiency around RevOps and sales operations for our clients.
That's great.
Which is a lot of words for, we basically just make companies more money through systems, right?
Yep.
But like my point in saying like no, like a resounding no is, I just love what we do. And there's so much that we're touching. Like we're starting to build software, right? Which that's actually almost rolled out, which is going to be something that's very, I think, I don't even know what the word would be. Like a catalyst to like more mission for me, because like SaaS is where I started, and now SaaS is where we're coming back to a little bit, which is really exciting. I think I might be just bored of the vehicle we're in, like service-based, high volumes. Like it's tough, right? Sure. Where we've kind of cracked it, but we kind of haven't. So there's lots of stuff to tinker there. But SaaS for me seems like a vehicle that's just.
Is it because, are you looking for a new challenge? Like I could relate, because when you do something so often for so long, you're kind of solving the same problems consistently.
Yes.
So you just get bored after a while as a founder.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally don't have this answer yet. You know what I mean? I just, I think constantly, so Sales Momentum's been around for 7 years now, right? Like I started as like a fractional CRO, come into the company, take over sales, fire a bunch of people, hire a bunch of people, rebuild, and then scale out, right? Then I saw the gap in the operations side around sales, right? Which we were hiring a bunch of companies. They were all really bad. We were paying them a lot of money. We took it over and we're like, wow, we're good at this. So we started doing that for our clients. And then that evolved and evolved and evolved to what it is today. So we're always finding better and new ways to do it. It's just not a very, it's really hard to market. And it's also like, that's kind of what we haven't figured out yet. It's like, how do we get more people to know about who we are, what we do, without complicating, like the explanation I just gave you, right? Like, how could I simplify that into a sentence, right? So like, I think we're at a point now where we've done so long, it's actually about like reversing it to more simple terms and simple execution. And like, that's going to allow us to scale, which is fun. But again, like I genuinely don't, there's just a missing piece to it currently. Yeah.
Are you more, is it more important to you to figure out why you're bored as opposed to figuring out, well, like what the next thing would look like?
I want to be careful, because it's like, maybe it's a little bit of boredom. Maybe it's a little bit of just like frustration. I don't really know, because like if I sit down and get to my computer, I'm having fun. Sure. You know what I mean? What was your question? Is it more
saying, like, do you care more about the attribution as to why you're bored, or like, would you rather just know what the next step is?
I think it's more agitation towards, I don't know what attributes I'm missing personally that are going to allow me to go to the next level. Rather than being bored or looking for a new vehicle. I think it's just like, we've been at this level for a while. We've done really well here. Now I'm even further out of the business, and it's like, okay, there's a whole new landscape. Like, this is a completely new chessboard now. And what I'm having fun doing is flying around and doing the strategic partnership stuff and thinking bigger and making sure the company is driving towards the right stuff. But where I think I'm getting the boredom is I'm used to being the one in the weeds doing all the shit, right? Yep. And now I'm like, okay, I know this person's going to mess this up, but I need to let them mess it up so that they can actually develop and get better.
Okay. So now that makes a lot of sense, because we're looking in the mirror now. I'm at the same exact spot.
Okay.
It's like, because you want to feel purposeful to the business, of course, but over the years, at least I'll speak for myself, that has been overcompensated to where you almost become a bottleneck to the process of the business. And now
100%.
it becomes tougher because now you have to spend the time delegating and cleaning up the shit because you still need to make sure your clients are getting results and they can't suffer for you trying to scale.
Right.
They have to understand you scaling, that there's other people involved, but they can't suffer the consequence of you fucking it up.
Well, and there's this weird, valley between having enough resources to hire the people that are extraordinarily good. Mm-hmm. And then you need to scale because the margins aren't really there. You're doing all the work, but if you start hiring for the people to do the thing that are really good, you're actually going to go negative. So you need to have some kind of plan for that. The people that are currently there, could be better, but you're doing all of the work. But if you let them do that, results are going to go down. So what do? You can't hire the talent you need. The talent that's there has the capacity, but you're the one doing a lot of the things that are driving the results. But you need to leave this to get to the next level. What do? You have to just leave, and you have to let people mess it up, and you have to be okay with it's a weird thing.
Yep.
But you have to be all right with the results are going to drop a little bit, but then they're going to get this much better, right? And as long as you have that confidence, it's typically a lot easier. That took me forever to understand.
It's tough when you care so much, especially in a world where you're not getting all your leads through cold marketing, and these are relationship-based clients.
Yeah, I mean, that's
your reputation's on the line.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that this is probably, 2 years ago, maybe. We were having an offsite, and I just specifically remember talking to the team, and I'm like, guys, look, you guys are doing this is all happening because you guys are here. But if we mess up, your name has nothing to do with it, right? It comes back to me, right? And I think that was one of the big, I think you just have to be super transparent with the team. Guys, I'm going to step away, and even though it hurts, I'm going to let you guys figure it out. And you have to hold yourself from going back in, because you're going to be every single day, you're going to want to jump back into something. Yeah, it's tough.
I had a great conversation. About this morning with my friend Ani, who's actually staying with me. You'll meet him at some point after this podcast. And he was basically talking you will always struggle with this if you continue to hire people with lower standards than yourself.
Yes.
Because you'll never feel like you're free from the problem.
100%.
And so it's actually a bad thing if you're I would consider you and I were pretty maniacal about getting clients results.
Yes.
Right?
It's
to a point
must
where
do.
It's mentally unhealthy for sure. We're cut from the same cloth. We're mentally unstable when it comes to getting clients results. I have a whiteboard in my shower to make sure that I don't forget the things that we need to get done for clients and stuff.
100%.
You have an obligation to continue to actually be more authentically you and tune that dial up, as opposed to tune that dial down and try and dull yourself out because your team thinks you're too much. You actually should dial that up and find people who are more maniacal than yourself.
I completely agree. And I think that's one of the positions that I'm in right now. That is if I dial up specific people that I care about, I do not think have the room left on the dial to continue going.
And
right?
It's tough because you're you're running a business, not a charity. But then there's also a loyalty factor, right? So that's the reason why this podcast
that's the
exists,
dichotomy
it's not that easy. Yeah.
No, that's the stuff that sucks.
Yeah.
That is the hard stuff.
And this is because you're building a real company. If you didn't care, you could it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a big difference, right? There's a lot of people that have companies that are 3-4 people that can do millions of dollars, right? And those are sometimes awesome businesses, but the people that are on our team, especially with what you guys do, it's very similar. It is a service. You always have to innovate to serve your clients better, right? We always have to innovate, which means that we need really good people that are always learning and thinking better, right? You can't just hire someone to do a thing over and over and over and over again. Our team, you need to be obsessed with what we're doing, especially if you're client facing, right? On the backside, maybe there's some stuff that maybe I'm incorrect about, but you have to just constantly get better. And I think, That's really hard, because that's actually one thing that'd probably be good to talk about that we went through quite often actually over the last couple of years. Is like, when I started, I hired my friends, right? Mm-hmm. Then we got to a point where I was like, wow, I'm just a money boat, you know, like paying all these people for doing nothing, you know. It's not that they weren't doing nothing. It's just, you know, I had the vision, direction, and they had like, oh, this is a cool opportunity, right? So you hire your friends or you hire people that you know, and then you grow, and then you have to get rid of them. And then you constantly go through this cycle of like trading up in talent. Sure. And that shit is painful. That sucks, because you definitely are going to run into people that you do not want to let go because you actually give a shit. But what I've realized over many cycles of this, as soon as you do, they find their next best thing and they grow a ton, and so do you. So it's a repetition of painful things that make them not so painful anymore, I would say. And I think maybe the position that I'm in now is like, there's new things that are painful that I haven't yet done in repetition. Hence why I feel so much resistance towards shit. What am I going to do next? Right. Because I can tell you from a high level, like, we are building a software that allows us to deliver our services as more of a SaaS, right? So we onboard into our platform, we manage and maintain the client results through our platform, right? Which allows us to do a lot of really cool things. You know, there is a lot with that I've really always wanted to get into some venture capital or private equity stuff. So like directionally I can give you our plan, but then like being tied to that plan and being super like, wake up, eyes awake, shit, I know what I'm doing today. That's where I've lost. Yep. And that's the most annoying thing as somebody who just wants to go.
Yep.
That's the hardest part.
So you're a human is what you're saying.
I would, yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But so in a world where software, AI, all these things are creating essentially like the end result for what we do will eventually be a commodity, right? Like everyone will have access to the end result over time because the edge is getting thinner on how much you can arbitrage information, results, et cetera, right?
100%.
The cool thing about that, though, is that the humans are what creates the edge, because the disparity between how fast humans evolve versus how fast AI evolves is massively wide, right? Like Ani was talking about today about like humans take so much longer to evolve because your nervous system can only handle like one thing at a time, as opposed to AI, it doesn't have emotions. So it just like trains itself every day. It doubles every 6 months or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So even when your software goes live, like the end result, sadly, don't take this offensively because it's the same thing on our end, it's still relatively a commodity because like someone will be able to build
100%.
that.
Yeah.
So how do you keep your edge as a relationship builder? Because I think that's really where the edge lies. So like, how do you make sure that you're the best human that could show up for your clients? How do you audit the team to make sure, you know, that edge is still where sales momentum?
I think you just keep results as like the primary KPI.
But do you think it's about less about results, not less about results, but also about how you deliver them, like how your clients feel about the results being delivered? Or do you think it's more objective?
I don't think so. Okay. I mean, I would say some of the most painful projects resulted in the best results. Sure. Right. And it would have been very easy for us to be like, no, this is supposed to feel good for you. Mm-hmm. But that's not the reality. Like, you're changing, in some cases, like we have big companies that we're changing the entire infrastructure for. That's not a fun process. Sure. You know what I mean? That is not an exciting, it is exciting because you can see the end state and you're like, wow, that's awesome. But getting there sucks. Right. And if we were always about pleasurable experience, like, I think that's one thing that I talk to our fulfillment team about a lot of the times is like, you can't just please the client. Like, there's going to be harder things that you need to have them address. Right. Yep. But does that like negate results? No, that's to get results. Right. So I think, one, yes, you can always do things to make it. That's why we place the operator now. Because the biggest constraint for most of these companies was like, well, my person's already super bogged down and can't do these things, right? So like, it would be impossible for this person to be able to do this, do it correctly, and then maintain everything. And that's what we heard over and over and over again. We're like, okay, great. We get hundreds of applications of people who are already employed but want to work with us because of who we work with and our name. Why don't we just try placing one of these individuals into the company? It sounds like they need them anyways. Mm-hmm. It sounds like we could get better results by taking this super capable person and training them on our methodology and taking them through fulfillment, right? It also sounds like this would force us to crystallize our approach, and that's what we did.
Yep.
And we've done that over and over and over again. Like right now, on my way here, we got off a meeting, and we're literally operationalizing the entire revenue operations approach. Because when most people say, oh, I have an operations person, it's like, great, that person is who you tell to point. Like you point at things and they shoot it, right? They are and don't take this the wrong way, glorified assistant to you, right? They are putting out fires, but they're doing nothing to grow the business. So how do you maintain the system so you don't have fires every day, and so that this person can actually grow the business? Well, you have to have a very repetitive, very prioritized, very pointed approach to running operations. And most people don't have that.
Yeah.
So I think, like, to answer your question, like, we're just always trying to solve for the next problem that our clients are running into in mass, right? Not like isolated things, but like if we take all of our clients, they all, or 50% of them, have this issue, right? If that's the case, let's solve it, right? Instead of selling a product, which doesn't change.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you guys do something similar. Like if some big new, I don't know, like whatever, some big shift happens. Well, yeah, AI is probably going to know about this, but like, are you guys going to figure it out and figure out how to actually address it with your clients? Yep. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the art of it, right? And that's where you gain your edge, because a lot of people are still like building from the past, right? And not enough people are looking at the future and basically trying to bring the future to the present. Essentially, and what I mean by that is like I wouldn't say number one, but our huge KPI, like we track this, is how many times a week we're hearing, this is something that I've never seen before. If we stop hearing that a certain amount of times, we know that we're not innovating fast enough.
That's a good point.
Because we want to continue to keep ourselves in a blue ocean when it comes to the business side.
How are you guys actually going about doing that? Is it just through tracking like fulfillment calls with clients? Like what, like, cause like we have an entire product team, and that team is responsible for basically finding old ways, beating those ways, and then basically documenting and doing all the stuff and delivering, as well as on the actual software side, building new stuff, right? So they're always like, their primary focus each day is like build new, proven, better process or system, whatever it is, right? Yep. And actually that's one of the things that I think anybody listening, like if you don't have somebody at a certain point on your team who's just doing like I know everybody's probably heard of R&D, right? Research and development. That's a real thing. Like you need somebody who's just constantly finding new things to work on and make better in your business for the client or for the product. And we've recently, over the last year, really built a team around that. And I think that's one of the things that makes AI exciting, makes all of these like, cool, you can understand this super fast and you can find all this information, but for what we do, you still have to implement it. And that's what becomes really difficult. So if like we just have people constantly finding the new thing and constantly working on, that's what keeps it fun, right? And so like going back to what you said you're constantly looking for, I've never seen this before.
But so like we always keep our ear to the ground of the feedback of, especially on the front end, on the sales side of like, yeah, I've never been approached with this type of offering before. Like, for example, so like we play in this blue ocean. There's very few people that do exactly what we do because by design, because you have these massive family offices that only serve multi-billionaires,
right?
That only really do investment stuff.
Right.
So I'm getting super tactical for this.
No, please do.
Then you have your financial advisors that literally only try and sell you products, investments, insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have like these multi-family offices that can like project manage a couple things. But then you have us that's kind of like standalone here, where we're literally like, you're paying for an employee, but you also get like 20 at the same time of everyone just working for specifically like our ICP is really what differentiates us, because no one's working with the growth oriented business owner that's in no man's land. Where like, you can't suffer the opportunity cost of taking your eye off the ball of growth because you're so locked in of hyper growth. But as you grow in a hyper growth fashion, all this other shit continues to pile up taxes, you have more tax issues, legal issues, all those types of things. And there's opportunity cost to you having to figure that out. Yeah. So we're like a glorified, very high level shit picker upper for our clients.
Dude.
It's like, so you could go focus on this one thing and we pick up all the shit that actually is like extremely important, that has a lot of dollar signs to it, that you can't afford to take put your eye on.
That's virtually what we do.
Yep.
Just around sales and marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes perfect sense. Well, I think what's cool with you guys, and like, I'm pretty sure I was one of those people where I was like, wow, I've never heard of this before, is like, I'm used to paying for legal counsel, and then paying for an accountant, and then paying for like someone who actually can advise on the personal side as well as like the business side. And then you have bookkeepers. It's like you have all of these things that are spread out and nobody talks to each other.
Yep.
Right. So you're the middleman, even if you don't understand it. Like, how are you supposed to? So for me, I was like, damn, that's super interesting. And I think the thing that you pointed out, which made a lot of sense, is like these companies like us, like, we're building, so like everything can fall apart just as fast as it's being put together. You know what I mean? Which is I think why most family offices or any of these people, like, they want to work with people who have money and want to protect that money. And
there's already stability going on.
Well, yeah.
Like, we only work with people that are building the plane as it's taking off at the same time. Which is like,
I mean, it's probably fun, dude.
Yeah, it's fun. And you always find new challenge. Like, you always find something new that's going on.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears already, because we can post that. That'll be our first ever ad that we've ever run with Aaron talking about that.
I like it.
We've never run an ad ever, so
that's pretty interesting.
Which is awesome, because we have a wait list. So it's been.
That's perfect.
On your side, when it comes to advertising and stuff, it seems like you have a lot of like high profile clients. We don't have to name any, but I know that you're like the guy in your space. How did you go about like building your relationships, building your moat on the relationship side and the acquisition side?
Well, I think at first, okay, so this was probably maybe at first I can make it really simple. I paid.
Yep.
I paid a lot of money, right? So like at first it was like, where do all these people hang out? Like, who do I want to get closer to? And you actually mentioned it at whose event? Oh, Justin's event. Yeah. Where you're like, I literally pay to be in a part of the people that I want to work with. Like, we did the exact same thing. Like, in the very beginning, there were some that came out of pure like coincidence, right? Luck. But then there was a lot of them that were like very tactical. Like, we would go, I think the first thing that we did, like the first major win was, I had consulted for somebody a long time ago, who was actually, so it's super weird. Ex-girlfriend from high school, was dating this guy, really brilliant guy who does a lot in like big enterprise company stuff. I was doing fractional stuff for software companies, all this stuff. We connected. I jumped on with him. We jammed for, I don't know, probably a few weeks, just gave some value. Just so happened that he became a director at Valuetainment, like many years later, right? We were in a webinar. They showed up, and the next day we were in their office. Like, hey, I'll come in. Let me come in. Let's jam, whatever. And once we got in the door, I think the approach that we've always done is like, I'm always willing to pay to get into a relationship if that's what it takes. But then I just kept going. Like, what's next? What else do you have? What else do you have? What else do you have? And like, for the first probably like 2 or 3 years of business, if you look at our P&L, we were going negative every month just to be a part of these groups, these masterminds, all these things. And I think there becomes a part where you're in every single one of these rooms and everybody keeps seeing you. And after a certain amount of time, you've had enough conversations where like these doors just start to open up. So like the first one for us was probably the PBD stuff. We went from going into their office, virtually working for nothing and helping them with stuff, to getting a contract to work with them, to then paying to go to all of their stuff, to then sponsoring their event for, and mind you, we were probably doing $2 to $3 million a year, and we sponsored an event for $250,000. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was just like, how do we keep going to show these people like we want to be aligned with them long term? And we started realizing this would work. Like, okay, we can get in as long as we like these people and we believe in what they're doing. We can like align ourselves with helping promote them and vice versa, promoting ourselves, right? So that worked. Then we started doing things with like Cole, and then it was like Eddie, and then it just kept. I really don't know how to explain it other than we got in the room, we made sure to give as much value to as many people, not just be there to pitch and sell all the time. We made sure to extract the value we needed to continue growing. So like, if you're there just to sell people, it's very apparent. But if you're there to get what you need from that room, like I think one of the things whenever you're in a mastermind or in an event or whatever, the results are going to only be at the level of which you extract out of what they're saying. And you're never going to get all of what you need from one group or one person. You're going to get pieces that later tie a bunch of stuff together. So yeah, let me try and turn this not into a tangent, just make it more tactical.
I mean, I love it, dude. It's a playbook. It's the exact playbook we run. You pay money. You have to pay money or time. Where like, let's just talk about if you're at a certain point where you can pay money, that immediately gains the respect of some of these higher level individuals because you're paying to be there. And if you could afford to pay for their highest level thing, that'll take the time it takes to get the result much quicker.
Well, it's going to speed your relationship up by 100x.
Yeah. Especially if you're secure in the value that you could bring to people, both from the business side and personally.
Yeah.
But you just got to be willing to like not try and withdraw from that relationship bank account too early. So it's like deposit.
Well, that's why I was saying like we kept paying, we kept paying. And it just started to happen over time. Like also, I think you have to be incredibly confident in what you do, right? Like you going into a room, you don't need to sell everybody because you can just be helpful and you know it's going to come back. That's virtually what we were doing, right? Going in, sitting down, just solving people's problems, making noise through just giving a lot of stuff. But we knew what we did was sick. And like we knew everybody in that room eventually was going to need us. And now the room that I started paying for 3 years ago, I'm going to speak at next week.
You get paid to speak at, right?
Not even to get paid, but just go out and speak to a bunch of 8-figure people that are all going to hang out for, 4 days in a ski resort. And like, I'm one of the maybe 5 or 6 people that are going to go talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's extraordinarily valuable for me. Right. But I wouldn't have got that if I just paid, try to get in and, you know what I mean? Like extract and then leave.
Where are you going? Are you going to Austria?
No, Vermont.
Oh, got it. I was going to say, we're going on a ski mastermind next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we are too.
That's crazy.
Just Vermont. So yeah, I mean, I think like the beginning for me, like I was always okay. When you learn from people early on, you're like, damn, I want to be friends with that guy, right? Like I want to learn from this person. I want to be around them. I want to do these things. There's no way that you're going to do that by not, unless you're like really big already, you're not going to come in and sit and see eye to eye with them right away. But you can do that by getting in and making yourself known by paying them to work with them. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would say like the maybe $2 million that we've spent in Masterminds is equated to like $10 million in like business revenue.
It's exponential.
Correct. And that doesn't stop today. That's going to keep going. So I think in the beginning, like as cliche as it is, it's like, figure out what you need to operate. If that's 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, take all of the rest of that. And instead of just blasting advertising, like figure out what rooms, and obviously that depends on your business model, but like for me and for you guys, like, of course that makes sense. Like one person in that room pays for maybe the year of what it cost us. You know what I mean?
I never like going on the one-to-one type of marketing strategies just because it's never as
one-to-one
exponential as like,
what do you mean?
So like, if I'm trying to get one person as a client, as opposed to if I'm going to pay for a center of influence where I can get access to an ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's significantly more exponential. And
it's also more fun.
Yeah, for sure. Right. If you can experience cool stuff, have cool conversations, hang out with people, and also grow your business, that's really what we're looking to do. Inevitably,
It's hard to find those.
Yeah.
By the way, what are the, actually, this is an interesting question. I'm asking selfishly too, but what's your, like top 3 groups that you've been a part of?
Great question. So I have to say for like the experience side, Eli's mastermind, Eli Facenda. Do you know him?
No.
Dude, I got to introduce you guys. It's crazy because homie does not like
promote it.
He purposely does not charge much. Like the mastermind has only 7, 8, and 9 figure people in it. Most people are 8 and 9 figure business owners, and it's $2,000 a year, $200 a month. It's basically free, and
that's free.
We go to like there's a monthly like call. The group chat is wildly active. We have every month we're like have a competition of who can deposit the most value to like who can donate the most money to this charity, or like it's like everyone trying to just like do things that are not just like how can we make more profit. It's like really how can we make life a better experience.
Yeah.
And then every year we do a badass ski trip with like 50 entrepreneurs at the coolest places in the world.
That's where you're about to go?
Yeah.
Austria is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So we're doing the Alps in Austria. Last year we did Japan. The year before we did Banff, Canada, Chamonix the year before. So like the coolest place in the world to ski.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. So I mean, that's by
I can get behind that.
Yeah. So I'll introduce you guys. You should be in that room 100%. Taylor Welch's room is awesome. Do you know Taylor?
I know him, but I've never.
His mastermind was really cool.
Or I know of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times we'll pay like for like one-to-one time. So like one of the best uses of, so me and Landon in 2024, we had the opportunity to bonus ourselves at the end of the year. And instead of doing that, we decided to pay a guy $30,000 to stay at his house for one night. And that in the span of like 2 years has probably made us like closer to 8 figures.
Yeah.
Just on that, just like the exponentiality
See, that's
of that relationship.
I love that because that's such a big brain move. It's like, oh, I could just pay myself this, or what else could we do with this to where like, but also I think that's really important that like you and your partner are able to like see eye to eye on that, because I know a lot of partnerships where it's like one person would be like, no, I need my money. Mm-hmm. The other one's like thinking about that, which that's one thing that I've learned too, is like partnerships hit or miss, like either going to crush and work for you, or it's going to be the worst thing you've ever done.
Large majority of the time it's a miss for sure.
Yeah.
Large majority of the time.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's like, you just got to be willing to have enough evidence to realize that that playbook works. Like I'm secure in it now because I've done it so many times, and like I now have the evidence of like this works. But you have to be willing to take the risk that it's not going to work, because you're going to lose money.
What's the most risky thing you've done in business?
It's a great question. This is my podcast, dude.
I know. I'm just curious. I'm like,
what is the riskiest thing we've done? I mean, there's like, it's feel like every day we're making
financial risk. Financial risk.
All right, so we just bought out a business partner, and I'm not going to disclose the numbers specifically because I think we still have NDAs around it. But we technically could have given him $0. Legally, could have been given him $0, and probably could have gotten away with like him suing us, a couple $100,000 of legal fees. Could have gotten away with it. We decided to give him close to multiple 7 figures in cash, and that was a risky part because of the fact that like that's a huge thing when you're like to leave your bank account when you don't have to.
Yeah.
And then right after, bonused our entire team in the month of January when we didn't have to as well. So just those types of things of just like what we felt like was good for the sustainability and long term of the business. There are so many other like risks of like that we could have went to zero many a times. That's a more recent one that I'm thinking of, that we took the massive high integrity route.
Yeah.
So
well, I like that example because there's plenty of situations where that triggered in my mind where it's like doing something like that as opposed to taking the other route is like, this gets it over quicker and removed from your brain space fastest. Whereas this, maybe you get away with, not paying as much or whatever, but like in terms of capacity that you're holding it in your brain, it's going to be way longer, which means the opportunity cost is probably more than.
Because most people are thinking from an ROI perspective just on money, but my ROI includes like my return on my energy, my return on my ability to sleep at night, my return on ability to like not think about that anymore. Yeah. So the clarity and the ability to hold your head high, and also for us to still be in good spirits with this guy and not have a shitty experience over 18 months of going through lawsuits and all these types of things.
It's unnecessary.
You just have to be willing to see the actual opportunity cost. And that comes from my recommendation is just like fuck it up in minor ways that aren't as devastating as 7-figure things early so that you have the experience. Because I think the only way to go through it is having some layer of experience there. And my hopes for everyone that's listening is just hopefully your experience comes when it's not $2,000 of a cost.
It likely comes when it's really expensive.
But my question to you when you're obviously going to a lot of masterminds, when you first start going to masterminds, walk me through the imposter syndrome that comes out. That inevitably has to come out. I have to assume, unless you're superhuman, that you're like, at some point when you're first paying to get into a room, you're like, why the fuck am I here? At least I'll say for myself, like,
I think it depends on the room.
Sure.
I think the best example of that for me was there's an event called CXO with Patrick. I don't know how much it is now. It's like 50, 60 grand, like for you and a person to go or whatever. They do it at these super sick locations. The first time was, I don't remember the first time. The second time was in DC, like old, historic, super sick. Anyways, I'm there, trying to be like invested, and these guys are talking about, $500 million. Oh, I'm trying to get to $1 billion. Oh, it's just like they are speaking about things that are so extraordinarily far past where I'm at. You know what I mean? And my questions are like, how do I, bring on a CO? It's just super basic. So when you first go in there, or when I first went in there, it was like, I didn't really want to ask questions and do all these things. There's just something in me that I just don't give a shit. And I just start asking questions. And it's interesting. Like when you go into these rooms, the fastest way to like just eliminate that is by being the first person with your hand up and like just doing it. And what I later realized is like I was sitting down actually with guys that eventually became clients of ours. They do like $500 million a year, like really awesome company. They've built this, like, it's insane, but we don't need to get into that. Their problems were the same problems I was having, just 10,000 times more costly and bigger. But like the parallels were the same, right? What they were trying to solve for, I was trying to solve for, but it was just at a completely different level, right? Which I found it pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a way of getting past it other than just like, hi, my name's Aaron. This is my question. This is who we are. This is what we do. And also, like, if you're the smallest in the room, people want to help you. Like, that's just what it ends up being. So, like, I don't really get it anymore. At the beginning, it was nerve-wracking because I didn't want to, like, let people know where I was at because I thought everybody else was, like, light years ahead of me. But in not telling everybody exactly where I was at and what I was trying to get out of this, like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot because there's probably someone there that
there's the only person that's losing by you trying to fabricate things is yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, you just drop the ego and fucking
100%
get in and say what you
here's
do.
An interesting nuance that I've also figured out over the years as well. I wonder if you feel the same way. Like, so when it comes to all these masterminds, right? We're obviously a part of a lot of these groups and such. I now strategically find one like a more, maybe like a PVD or so that's more visionary, where the leader of the group is a lot further ahead than myself.
Yeah.
While I also make sure that I'm having one where somebody's maybe one step further than me, so they can teach me more on a tactical level, something they just went through. So that there's more of a high level one visionary, and there's also someone that can kind of get their hands dirty with you at the same time.
What I really like is I like going to the events of the people that are super far past, and I like the masterminds of the people that are around my level.
Yeah, so you have more of like a coaching and consulting feel at
I can
the
hit
more
up
intimate level, right?
You know, I can walk in the room and be like, oh, like, that's my boy. This is my, you know, like I'm with my peers where it's a lot more like get together, brainstorm, and like crack small codes that move the needle. Whereas like some events that we'll go to or pay for are like, these people are way far past where we're at. And at some points in business, like that's exactly what you need, is like, you need somebody to just show you like you're playing really small. But for the masterminds, like at least for me, like I just really like being in or around, because you can be helpful for the people that are below you, but then you can also gain insights from the people that are 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of you. You never, sometimes when you're in like super high visionary, like big stuff, when you need the tactical stuff, you're going to somebody who's giving you like too high level stuff.
Yep.
So you just need to be careful of like what you're trying to get out of it. And I think, yeah, I don't know. Masterminds, like I've never invested in something where it's group related, where I've come away with a negative return on time or investment, like ever. And some of these groups suck, you know, some of these groups are terrible.
But you always learn something as long as you're a resourceful human. You, in worst case scenario, you learn that this was not the group that you want to be around. Right? So,
well, and you can always find good people. It doesn't matter, right?
100%.
But yeah, I mean, so anyways, get in the door, pay to play. Once you do that, right, like you're going to find the people that you want to connect with. And then you just need to drop a lot of people won't walk up to people because they think, oh, that's weird. Mm-hmm. No, dude, just do it.
Yep.
Just walk up, shake their hand, tell them what you do. I mean, that's how I play.
Hell yeah.
It's the way to be.
Last question to get us out of the weeds.
Yeah.
Outside of all the performance, outside of business success, all those types of things, like who is Aaron? Who are you at the core? What do you like to do? What are you about?
Yeah, that's the question right now, isn't it?
That's someone who would like, I want to learn more about you just as a friend.
I mean, at my core, I like bringing different types of people together. So I'm the person where if I walk into a room and I notice there's 2 or 3 odd people out, I go to them first and bring them in. So like, I like being a facilitator of like bringing different groups, different parties, different businesses, different team like together. I've always been like that. Like even in high school, I was like friends with lots of circles and always was the like center point of bringing lots of different groups together. So there's a part of me that likes connecting people. I like golf. If I could, and it was productive, I would play mindless video games, hardcore all day. I don't, but I would. And yeah, I mean, I think right now I'm in this discovery of like who I am after just going through my 20s, building some business, doing some stuff like that. Like now I'm in like a reinvention mode of like, what do I want to do? Do I want to live in the city? Do I want a big lot of land where I can build a freaking, you know what I mean? Like huge. Do I want freaking like my own chickens? Like it's like such a weird, you know, like thing to think about, but, yeah, I don't really have a full answer for you other than I like being helpful. I like connecting people. I'm definitely driven by feeling I'm giving value to people. Like if I don't feel like I'm making an impact in other people's lives, I just feel not good. Like I need to be doing something that's driving somebody else to be a bit happier, a bit, you know, less stuck.
What do you do for yourself that makes you feel that way?
Right now I read. I mean, I don't really have any good answers. Golf and reading is probably like the 2 pieces that help me figure out what that's going to be next.
Sure.
And I wish I had a better answer for you, but I just don't. Like that's, I think the biggest disconnect as to what we were going back to earlier is like, I used to really know myself like really well. Now I just know myself in business. Outside of business, I really do. I couldn't tell you. Like I'm still figuring out what that is. And I think I've never really had the option because I've always been running faster away from the stuff that I don't want to catch up, like finances or bills or whatever it is. Now it's like, oh shit, I get to like actually figure out what I give a shit about again. Yep. Like, so I'm in a super interesting spot.
It's tough because the only solution is you have to slow down temporarily to like figure that out, right? Like you have to create enough space to let that come to you because typically the right answer never comes by force. So trying to force whatever that is usually isn't the right thing. I'm talking.
No, I agree. So. And what I'm thinking about in my head right now is like, what is what's a good answer to like, who is somebody? Like
I don't think there is a good answer.
I don't think there is either,
whatever,
but like
whatever kind of comes from the heart, which I'm struggling with because everything comes from my head right now.
Correct.
There's really no like feeling attached
that's the best way to put it is like my brain is taken 100% over where it's just like, I mean, because when you're in business, it's like, yeah, there's some hardy shit, but most of the time it's just playing in your brain all the time. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's things that I'm very interested in learning. I'm very much drawn towards understanding like faith again, which I've never been religious or like close to God or anything along those lines, but I've been learning a lot more there. I'm learning a lot more on like long-term investments and like what I can actually do that's much bigger plays that don't require like time or energy, but stuff that I can start setting up now. So I think I'm moving from just like a checkers board to like, okay, I'm very much interested in playing chess now. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I feel like I've played business as like a child and now I want to play it as more of an adult and somebody that's been around and has a lot of experience, but also on the personal side. Like it's always been just ragtag, just go, go, go. Now I want to figure out kind of what actually matters. So yeah, I mean, where I want to live, what I want to do with my free time, where I want to put my free time, like all of those things are stuff that have big question marks around it. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to figure that out over the next year, you know?
I'm super bullish that you'll figure it out because I think the hardest step that people won't get over is just admitting that they're in that spot. So like,
I mean,
like especially
that's probably not the answer anybody's expecting. You know?
No, but that's the real answer, and that's what we're here for, right? Because like the prototypical person that I would interview from Miami, and don't take offense to this, because you're not that guy, that you don't come off that guy, but like they would just keep up the facade for as long as possible, and then just continue to wither that thought away for a long time.
Yeah.
So to be even aware of it in an environment where it's most of the times people feedback will be like, dude, shut the fuck up and get back to work. It's admirable.
Well,
so
I think
I respect you highly.
I think one of the, well, I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I just don't really care what people think anymore. And that's part of I think that's one of the best things that like going through business really hard in your 20s is going to give you is like, you just won't give a shit anymore in terms of like what or how people think or perceive you. You know what I mean? That's what used to drive me. I always wanted to be looked at a certain way. I just don't care anymore. Like it's too much energy to try and keep that up. But even now, like I'm thinking about selling all of my watches and selling all of my stuff and like getting all of that stuff and putting it in, like, it's just like, I'm in a very different transitionary period where, reinvention is happening. And when you're in the middle of that, it is a whole weird, even this conversation is like making me think of different stuff. So I don't know. What I will say is, I'm very bullish on what's happening. Cause like, if I wasn't in this state, I mean, I always look at everything. Have you seen the, Ray Dalio's like feedback loop, like life cycle, whatever? I would say like right now I'm like here. So like, I'm just on the other side of like really figuring something out and then going to the next side. Right. And I can have peace knowing that like, that's where I'm at, but then also just a shit ton of agitation. I'm like, all right, what is it? What is it?
That
what
doesn't
is
make
it
any less annoying.
No. And I may be speaking very like, I don't know, laid back, but like what I will say is like the way I operate is like my brain is just constant. Like it's like hyperfixation and like OCD together where it's like, I have to work something out. So that's where, I don't know, maybe some of my responses to this have been like lots of different directions, but.
Is sitting still hard for you?
Yes.
Like, do you struggle to meditate?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We're the same person. Like, that's like, cause like one of the solution, like we were talking about, not the solution, but like a solution is we're just, everything's going on up here and like getting into your body, as weird as it sounds, is one of the solutions, but that's the hardest part, is literally just stopping moving.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people have a large struggle with getting the momentum rolling. My biggest fear is losing the momentum by sitting the fuck down.
Correct.
Yeah. It's wild.
Do you, question on are you like a work super late or work super early person? Early?
I'm dead by 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
You're a late guy?
I have been. but I'm kind of switching to the morning piece. It's for me, I've always like my brain starts to build and then by night it's not turning off.
Yep.
Like, so like I get really good stuff done. What I'm trying to flip that to is more of a routine, like KO at the end of the day, which is really freaking difficult for me, but I don't know. I mean, I think, we'll see what happens routine wise, but I can tell you what I am focused on is like one, setting up personal finance. That's actually why I'm interested in working with you guys. Is like on the personal side, I want to be quote unquote like unfuckable with. Like I want to be able to make decisions that I wouldn't normally be able to make just because like I'm set up. Sure. Right. On the personal side. On the business side, I'm trying to unlock the vehicle that we've been building towards, which is kind of the SaaS stuff, so that we can play a little bit of a bigger game. And then on just purely personal, it's like getting back into the gym and then realigning with like a vision for myself that I see over the next couple of years, which could be family, could be faith, could be health, could be a bunch of different things, but like kind of recalibrating what I actually need to do there. And that's what I'm doing, you know, along with just doing a lot of this, which is going to be uncomfortable, but cool at the same time.
I love it. Well, if you were stock, I'd bet on you, bro.
Hey.
I'm excited to have another conversation like this a year from now and see how
that'll be very interesting. Well, I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
100%.
Woo.
Cool.
Good stuff, man. Dude.
Ping pong.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was that flow, man.